But it was really hard to get a disc. That's one thing I'm going to have to say. When I started, it was not like today where you can just get any disc you want, style, weight, color, everything
Yeah.
at your fingertips. You can get it all right now with a click of a button, anything. What we had to do was we had to stand at this guy's trunk when he pulled up and be there, and hopefully he just got a disc order. And when he opened his trunk, he would get rated, and if you didn't buy a disc right then and there, you probably weren't going to get a new one.
Yeah, it's not like you could just crack open the phone book and search for disc golf discs and roll down to the shop, right? I mean, it's like pretty
Right.
underground.
And Walmart and Dick's and places like that were not carrying them at that point. So
No, yeah, wow. So that makes sense. I mean, so you said early '87. I noticed also in '87 that was your very first PDGA tournament, and I guess this isn't going to surprise many people, but you won. The very first tournament you ever played was the 1987 Crosstown Classic in Orlando. So you had a short drive. That was amateur. Do you have any kind of memory of that, like that very first official tournament, or had you played kind of some non-PDGA? Obviously, there's no way for me to check into that stuff.
no, that was my first foray into any kind of organized event, and that was in Orlando, and they used multiple courses on that one. I think Turkey Lake and UCF. That was why they called it the Cross Crown Classic, because they used those two courses were across town from each other. One was on the east side, one was on the west side.
And yeah, you won it, right? I mean, was that a surprise, or were you just kind of knew you were pretty good already, or what?
Yeah, I had already buddied up with CR Willie, who was a little more into the know than me about all this stuff, and me and him were battling back and forth in our practice sessions before we ever went to this thing, and he and I were quite a pair, to battle each other and bring each other up. We were kind of striving to beat each other, and that's kind of what helped us ascend through some of the lower ranking players and up into the upper ranking players early in the beginning, just because we had a drive to beat each other.
Yeah, sure. That's so important to have a kind of a training partner. I have
Right.
heard that you had some pretty, I've heard rumors of just like incredible practice regimen for you kind of in the early days where you were playing just so many rounds and putting. And was that this time frame, or was that kind of after you'd turned pro?
It was I was working a lot, so it was like anytime I could get off work, or anytime we could get off early, or the weekend when I didn't work, I would go out there. And you're right, I sometimes would play 10 rounds of golf. There wasn't many
Wow.
players out there, so it was either me or me and a buddy, and we could whip around there pretty quick. And in the beginning, my course was only 9 holes. There was no back nine at Cliff Stevens when I started, so it was
Wow.
kind of easy to whip around.
Sure, sure. Yeah, man. Well, it certainly worked.
Hey guys, you want to hear the full conversation between Nate Sexton and the champ Ken Climo? Then download Running It with Nate Sexton, available on podcast platforms everywhere, even on YouTube. And check out the archives with amazing guests like co-founder of Innova, Dave Dunapace, Paige Pierce, Paul Macbeth, Dan Stork-Roddick, and so many more. Running It with Nate Sexton, available on podcast platforms everywhere. Make sure to like and subscribe.